Okay, in this video, I'm going to be talking about functions. So in the previous videos, right, I've been saying, oh, functions here, functions there. Oh, you can print as a function. Oh, input is a function. What? Okay, I'm not going to be talking about what is a function because you already know. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can create your own functions. So to start off, I'll just show you how to create a function. To create a function, you just do def, the name of your function, okay, no. And then these brackets here, and then a colon, and then your code. So let's look at the print function. In the print function, it takes arguments, or it takes one argument, which is what you want to print. In previous videos, I spoke about what arguments are, but I'll talk about them here now. So what an argument is, right? It's kind of like a field. Like let's say you are doing a form, right? And then there are answering fields. Each answering field is an argument here. Whatever you write in your answering fields, right, it will cause the person who analyzes the form results, right, to make certain actions. That's what arguments are here now. So in the print function, if I put in this argument, it will tell the print function to print out this value. So Nikki, how do I create my own arguments? You just go into the brackets of your function name, and then you know how when you're creating variables you give names, right? Basically, you create variable names, but you don't give the variables values. You just write the name of your argument into the function. So let's say I have an argument called what to print. That's it. So basically, what this does is the Python program will see this argument and will then create a variable with this name what to print. So now you can just like with any other variable, you can do things to it. You can, for example, print it. So okay, now that we have created our function, let's call it. So we call it, like just like print, we write the name, then we write the brackets, right? We just do function best brackets, and then we put the argument. So let's do hello. So basically, okay, when the program starts from the first line and then sees through this, right, it's not going to run the code here. All it does is it sees, oh, there's a function here, and this is the code that it owns. Okay, I'll remember this. And then it will not run anything because it's just creating the function, not calling the function. This is calling the function. This is calling the function. So when we call the function and when we pass in an argument, the program will link this back to this, and it will create a variable called what to print with the value hello. So now we should expect to see hello printed out here. So let's run it, and as you can see, it worked. Let's change it to that. Okay, let's change it to that. It works. So that's pretty much functions. And if I want to make another argument, so let's say I want to make another argument, number of times, okay. And then now let's say we have a variable called counts, and then count will be equals to number of times. So now we can use like a while loop in here. So while count is higher than 0, do this, and then count minus equals 1. So now if we do, let's say I want to print hello, and I want to print it 6 times. You see it? Hello, hello. So this is how you can create two arguments, and then you can use these two arguments to do code, to create code in the function itself. So I mean, that's pretty much it. That is functions. It's quite a, at first it is a very basic and simple concept. But let me teach you a few other concepts related to functions. So let's say we have this function, let's call it recurring. Okay, ignore that, don't worry about that. Oh, whoops. Okay, wait. Yeah, don't worry about this. I made a mistake. So yep. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so anyway, what if we do something like this? So this function, let's say we call this function. What happens is that it will call this function. Oh, it'll start running the code in here, right? It'll print, then it will call the function again, which means that it will print again. Then you'll call again. Then you'll print again. You'll call again. Print again. Call again. Loop this forever. This is called a recursive function, where the function calls itself. And I can show you this in action. Okay, I am not going to actually do it like this. I'm going to limit it. So let's create the times argument. Okay, so we're only going to let the function keep calling itself for a certain number of times. But that doesn't work. You know why? Because then it will have its own thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna run this. Okay, actually, you know what? I'll run it. Okay, don't run this on your end, because in the website it will probably crash. But on my end, it'll be fine. Okay, so let's go functions. So okay, basically it ran the function and it did the recursion for many times until Python said enough is enough. Maximum recursion depth exceeded while calling a Python object. So basically, yeah, you can only the function can only keep calling itself a certain number of times. So okay, I mean honestly, that's pretty much functions. With functions, right, the possibilities are pretty much endless. So your assignment for this lesson, okay, is you need to take everything that I have taught you in all the videos, combine it into one crazy program. For example, I will tell you about my experience when I was first learning Python, right? And when I finally learned everything that I have just taught you, I created this like quote unquote operating system. It wasn't an operating system. It was a very poorly made like lapping operating system. And then what it was is when you ran the program, you would have to put in a password, and then you would have access to many programs such as a calculator, games, a notepad, and things like that. And then of course this was all in the terminal lah. So I created and it was called Fortif lah, Fortif. So that was when I was very young anyway. So basically with all the knowledge that you have right now, you can make something like that. So try to make something like that. If you just copy that wholesale, it's fine, because if you can pull that off, then not bad. But that will be it for these lessons. Thank you for following along. Goodbye.